Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Queenie here. And as you might notice, it's a bit different, this introduction. If you may or may not recognize the style of the drawing that I'm using to introduce this video, I have been designing for the past while, very long while, a Fakemon line. I've mentioned in the past, I do draw Fakemon in my spare time, just on paper or on my iPad, and I just decided when I finally was able to get my drawing tablet set up and connected and a good art program, I would film it for you guys, editing and redesigning a design I designed on my tablet. And it's going to be the grass starter line of my own personal region, the FaeSai region. I've decided that I am stuck on the idea of where the region's going to be based on. Madagascar. And yes, there are going to be people who are thinking, penguins in Madagascar? No. The actual island and people of Madagascar. They're, from an anthropological standpoint, it is fascinating. From a design standpoint, there are so many interesting things I can base Fakemon off of. And I know this intro's getting a bit long, so let's see if we can get right on into the design process. Okay, so here I was having a little bit of trouble deciding how much I'm going to take from the original design. I know I like the pose, but it was sort of static. So I'm trying to add a little bit more fluidity to it while keeping the main parts that I liked. I made a few errors when I was trying to decide how big the body would be. That's what you saw me deleting from. Now, I wanted to have a bit of action, so I wanted to have at least one arm raised. But the rest are going to be pretty much the same. It's going to be a grass star, so I wanted to incorporate a little bit of, foliage. So I added a little bit of leaves. And this is my second idea, but I didn't like how it turned out in the end, so you're not going to see that again after I get to finish designing it. It was really awkward in how I designed it. The body started off way too small, and the legs just were not how I wanted them to be. That's another reason why I got rid of the design. If you're hearing lots of purring, that's my cat. He's on my lap currently, sorry. But there's still lots that's gonna be... I also didn't like how I positioned that arm. That's another reason why I got rid of it. I knew I wanted the tail to have at least 2 leaves. As you can see, I've started on making a finished design outline before I do the final outline. Just making sure I have everything where I want it to be, having it looking how I want it to be, doing a fine lining, and making some edits to it, like adding claws to the back feet. You'll see later in the design I get rid of that. This is also where I decide I only want 1 leaf on the head. And now that we've finished that, we're going to add another layer. You had to change the opacity of it so I could do another layer over it so I could do the outlining. I've never really had to speak over my drawings, so I don't really know what to say, but I'm trying to, fill in the silence. You'll see that there might be some minor changes, like actually adding it into those claws into it. Like, Furby, get off my desk. Bad kitty. Go on. Lay on the pillow. You'll see later on, I'm gonna, I'm not sure if it's in this form or the evolved form, but you'll see later on I make some subtle changes to how the stripes are. Getting the color palettes put down, because I knew I wanted to keep the colors. I might edit them a little, but I'm still learning this software at this point, so when I'm first drawing, I'm still trying to fill in the line work as fast as possible before I learned that after there's a setting in Adobe Fresco, which is the software I'm using, which not only sets it to dark mode, but I can make the entire layer that I'm working on sort of selected, and it'll be the only thing I'm drawing on, so I won't get it outside the line work. I'll learn that later on. That was a pain before I learned it. I knew I wanted to keep the brown underbelly, keep a sort of woody feel to it, because I didn't want to add too much actual nature to it, but I want it to sort of blend in, because that's going to be a whole main point of this Pokemon. And I know we already have a grass lizard in Grovyle, Sceptile, and I always forget one of them. I can't remember which one I've forgotten, but I know I've forgotten one. But I hope my design is different enough from it that it'll differentiate while still being its own design. Because it wasn't until I was working on the final evolution I noticed there's already a grass lizard. When I'm doing shading, I'm probably not going to do it like everyone else, but I change the opacity, I duplicate the layer, and then I erase some of the top layer, and I merge those two layers together, and I still don't know much about blend. At this point in the drawing process, I still don't know much about blending, so I'm trying to do too big of a brush. That's when I learned I can select an entire layer. Now, I'm going to, at one point, cut and not show you the rest of my process in shading, because you already see how I've done it. And once I hit that cut, I'll start introducing the Pokemon. I know my shading style way of shading isn't the most efficient, but it's how I do it. It's the easiest way for me. Introducing Cameling. Cameling are known as the camouflaged hatchling Pokemon. Cameling blend into their surroundings when scared and don't reveal themselves until the threat is no longer present. Cameling are usually seen being protected by their final evolution. Cameling evolve at level 16. Cameling are 2'6" and weigh 10.5 pounds. And they are a grass type. Their shiny is supposed to represent fall colors. I know the red of the leaf is a bit bright, but I really liked it. Their ability is color change. Their HP stat is like the EV is at 100. I just sort of put it in Pokemon Showdown and hit randomize and just let that take the stats. Just sort of randomly slid the sliders until I got something that I thought was okay. Because I wanted it to have high HP because it's always hiding. So I wanted the HP and the defense high, but I wanted the attack low. I wanted the speed sort of high, so I had it at 72. Now, I think it's about time we get into the next stage. Let's go. Okay, you'll see from this point on, I am going to be basing the designs off of the new design instead of old designs I've had. So, we're going to get the base sketch down. It's gonna take a while. I at first wanted to get like multiple designs down, like iterations, so I could see which one I liked best, but usually when I'm designing something, if I like the first iteration, I don't try and make another one. Here you'll see that I'm putting their hands together to sort of iterate that they're shy and they don't want to sort of come in contact with people. And you'll see here that leg. I hate that leg, so I'll change it later. And the tail, you see that little crease? I'm going to get rid of that eventually. There's going to be a lot of stuff I change, but plenty of stuff I keep as well. And you'll see that on the top of the head, instead of one leaf, it's evolved to have two. Just thought it was a sort of progression. I've changed the pose a bit to a little less outgoing, because as they've gotten older, they've gotten more shy and less willing to try and interact with others. So I wanted it to sort of seem closed in on itself. Really shy. As you'll see that here, I was starting to get the stripes going sort of pointy instead of more rounded. I just wanted to add a little bit more contrast in the design to the softer edges. And you see that eye is going to be a bit of a problem. I'll fix later. Much later. I added another leaf to the head. Give it a little more. That foot did not go well. To give it a little more, detail. Give it a little more separation from the first evolution, the first stage. Make the second stage seem a little more, evolved. And you'll see I'll use the selection tool and move over that leg, like copy and paste it and move it over and sketch over it so that the legs will look better. You'll see each limb is turned in towards the body instead of being outgoing, sort of trying to protect its soft spots. That's sort of going into the more shy parts. You'll see that I'm changing the tail design a bit, making the tail sort of stand out. First, I wasn't sure if I was going to add the tail length to like how tall it would be. Then I decided I wasn't sure because I don't know much about. I love Pokemon. I've watched the anime. I collect the Pokemon cards. I have never played the games. Only game I've played is the Pokemon Infinite Fusion. For that, I have never played a game. like an official Pokemon game. I just love the designs. That's the whole thing of Pokemon I love. Basically anything can happen in Pokemon, and I love that. You'll see that I've sort of updated the color palettes. Be less blurry. And I'm sort of just coloring all over the place because I can change the opacity so I can color in the lines better. I think it's near this point that I start to see. Yeah, I think it's right after I color the eyes that I start changing that one eye. From my perspective, it's the right eye. That one. You'll see that I've changed it to look more like. I think I might have copied. No, I'll change it to look more like. I think I actually copied and pasted. Did I? I can't even remember what I did. It took a lot of finicking to get the eye to look how I wanted it. Even then, I still don't like the eye a bit. I think it's how I position it. Like the actual eye instead of the iris. I tried to get to the as close to the Pokemon style as possible, but I still wanted to get a little bit of my drawing style in there. And the coloring is going to take a while. I wanted to stick to the main colors, but I added some colors. You'll see it when we get there, but I think you guys are going to like what I added. And I hope you guys didn't mind the Maki early in the episode. I just really wanted to get something out for you guys until I could get this done. It took longer than I expected. I was sort of rushing to get this done because I have other stuff to do, like looking at courses for college. So that's a big thing I'm going to have to start because I'm sort of late to doing that because I've been trying to focus on other stuff. I'm not going to go to one of those big name brand colleges. I'm going to go to a nice community college because you can do the exact same things, basically, for a much cheaper price. And it's going to be in my home state. I'm not going to name which college it is, but I will be hoping to major in graphic design because I'm much more comfortable on a tablet and with graphic design than I am with normal physical design. Though I still practice with actual physical design. Markers, colored pencils, outlining, fine lining, everything. I just like digital design more because you can manipulate so much to be exactly how you want without worrying about not being able to go back. This is the point where I add a little bit of extra color. You'll see, this is the skin tone that I use for the shiny. And you'll see that when I design the shiny. Well, I don't really show myself designing the shiny, but you'll see in the shiny, I use this skin tone, like this line skin tone, for its belly stripes. Right now I'm just finishing the leaves, trying to get them all nice and done. Hopefully, to me it looked like it was different enough, but if it's not, I can always go back and design it later, like redesign it later, like update the design, change it a bit, tweak it to look more different, but still have the same concept because I love the concept. You see, Madagascar, they have loads of chameleons and lizards. Lots of different lizards. A lot. And I wanted to have a lizard. I based it off of 3 different ones. I can't really remember which ones they were, but one was I think it was the horned leaf chameleon. I'm not certain. But I based it off of the first stage was based solely off of a lizard, like a regular old lizard. The last 2 stages based off a chameleon. Now, when we cut, we're gonna get right into the next stage. Introducing us. So, introducing leaf chameleon. From leaf and chameleon. Leaf chameleon are known as the camouflaged leaf Pokemon. Leaf chameleon are rarely seen near other Pokemon. When they are seen, it is usually in conflict with said other Pokemon. Leaf chameleon evolve at level 25. They are grass type. You'll see in their shiny that their stripes, instead of the orange of the skin tone of the shiny, it is the green skin tone of the regular one. Still 50-50 for gender. They are 4'4", and I know they look really short, but it's just I couldn't really at this point I was trying to include the tail. I may change the height. I don't know. But they are 86 pounds. Ability, color change. For stats, the HP is 80. The attack is 180. Because these are more... While they are shy, they will attack at the drop of a hat if someone gets too close. The defense is 84. Special attack is 20. Special defense is 32. And speed is 112. Because I wanted them to be able to be fast. Now, let's get into the designing of the final stage. Okay, first, as always, the sketch. You'll see that I was trying to make the leaf first before trying to get the head shape down. That was a mistake. I'll fix it. You'll see I'll be approaching it a bit different, making sure the mouth is open and seen. At first it'll look like I'm making a snake, but you'll see later it's not. And you'll see that I'm making leaves all along the back and the tail. And a little bit on both sides of the tail, but not too much. Adding the belly stripes. Okay, here comes the arm. And you'll see that I'm keeping the arms closed again. And I'm adding the legs. You'll see that I'm going to try and make sure the foot is facing the screen to add a little bit of motion. And you'll see that it'll look like it's walking. Because I want to add motion to the design, and I wanted to make sure that the design had a bit of fluidity. And you'll see that I added markings next to the eye, because I wanted to add more design elements, make it more differentiated from the previous design. You'll see that the leaves will, like on the head, will change a bit in shape and size, because I wanted them to sort of be a uniform size, but still not be too close to each other to add a little bit of difference. You're probably wondering why I got so awkward. My mother was just watching me trying to make a voiceover. It was very awkward. She was just staring at me. So let's just keep going. You'll see that I'm trying to get all the outlining done. There goes the foot, changing it a bit. Looks a bit chubby, sort of like a baby leg, but I didn't know how to fix it, so I just left it as it was. And here come the rest of the leaves. The leaves are a bit hard to do because the tail wasn't in a straight line. It was curving, so I had to make sure the leaves curved with it. You'll see I was struggling with some of them. And I didn't fix those either. I'm on a tight schedule. I wanted to get it done, but I still wanted to give you something sort of good, so I focused more on other stuff. You'll see that when I sketched it, I forgot to add the tongue. So I had to add it in after I got the outlining done. And here come the stripes again. Those feet really do look webbed, don't they? Like, and I'm adding little diamond patterns so I can add a little bit more color to the design. It won't be a big contrasting color, but it's something. I really don't know why I keep trying to add so much extra to the outside of the colors. It'll just be more work trying to erase it. Okay, now let's see if we can get this. Hello, everyone. You'll see that I suddenly cut out. I accidentally exited my drawing software, which also ended my recording. I didn't notice until I was halfway done with all the coloring. Sorry about that. I didn't know how to it wasn't recording anymore, so I couldn't really recover the footage. So there wasn't really anything I could show for that. So, sorry about that. The rest of the drawing, once I noticed, I made sure to record the rest of the drawing, like coloring it in and everything. I recorded a bit of the shading, but not much else. Because I was already on a tight budget. Tight time frame, and I just didn't have the time for that. I'm sorry. But this is also a good time to mention I'm going to be busy for a while, looking into colleges and such, and courses. So after this video, I'm probably not going to do much drawing videos. I wanted to get more drawing videos done, but until then, I'm probably not going to, because I wanted to do more drawing videos. But until I'm sort of calmed down on the college, that's not going to be possible. I'll record a gaming video every once in a while, but until that's calmed down, probably not gonna happen. Sorry about that. But anyway, I say we get back into the drawing process. Let's go. Okay, so let's go. You'll see that I had already started on a lot of the true coloring, like the belly and everything. It's going a bit slow because the recording was trying to catch up with what my pen was doing. Even though I sped up the recording. It would have been a lot slower if I hadn't. tail stripes are going down. You'll see that I got the orange tone down before I did the brown tone. And I darkened the brown tone as well. I made the marking on the eye brown, the dark brown tone as well, and I made the little diamonds orange to add more color, pops of color and more of the blank areas. Just trying to get the tail finished. It's going slow. Oh, I'm out of water. Luckily, I keep a giant water bottle full of water so that I can just refill my smaller one whenever I'm out. Alright, giant water bottle. It's full of water, ice water. And this water bottle, it's huge. It's great. It keeps things cold for forever. So once every 3 days, just have to once every 3 to 5 days, I have to refill the giant water bottle. But other than that, it's good. And it keeps the water cold still because the ice doesn't really melt. It's a wonderful water bottle. That giant bubble you see is the color picker. I'm trying to get the eye color picked. And you'll see I'll start working on the eye. Just gotta zoom back in. No, wait. I was working on the leaves. The eye color and the leaf color are similar. You'll see that when I start working on the eye, it's going to look a bit different. And that'll be explained once you finally see the final sort of Pokédex entry. I designed the template for it myself. That's probably why it looks a little weird. I just tried to make it look good so I could fit all the information I needed. Trying to get the leaves done. Near the end of the video, I'll explain why, instead of using Lillian, my OC, as the character that's talking, I made a sort of more realistic person, even with the purple hair. Until the end, though, you're just gonna have to keep guessing. You'll see that later I go in and fix all the, as I go, I fix all the colors that are going outside the lines into other areas they're not supposed to be. I'll fix that as I go, and it'll look better. And I'll also fix the patchy colors. I think it's at this point that I start working on the eyes, and you'll notice that I'm doing a dark sclera instead of a white one. And no, I'm not turning the eyes gray. I just hadn't put the colors in yet. There goes, starting working on the tongue. And you'll see that those little hangy bits on the mouth, I'm going to change those into teeth. There we go. and I add tooth on the other side as well. And you'll see the head shape's a lot different than the roundness of the previous forms. I just wanted to add a little bit more sharpness to the design, because most of the design is soft. And this time you get to see me shading. And there it would go. You'll see with the leaves, I do it a bit differently, like the shading. I just do a big black streak in the middle. You'll see why later. As we go. I'm not sure it looks that good later on, but it is what it is. I didn't want to have to try and keep trying to shade it, so I just went with it. Went with the flow. Okay. Finishing touches on the leaves. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the final stage of the grass starter line. Introducing the final evolution. Nizard from Night Blizzard. Nizard are known as the dark camouflage Pokemon. I am tongue-tied today. Nizard are violent towards any who approach the cameling under their care. Should anyone be able to catch one, they will take great care in protecting them. Nizard, that is. Nizard does not evolve. They are dark grass type. They are 5'7" and 126 pounds. Big boys. Their ability is also color change. They have an HP of 132, an attack of 184. Their defense is low, because I wanted them to sort of be tanky. Their defense is 12. Their special attack is 44. Special defense is 20. And their speed, I wanted it to be pretty high, so it's 116. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get right on into the explanation of why I changed who I was going to use to introduce my characters. Okay, so the reason why I decided to use this drawing instead of Lillian, I'm going to be getting face cam eventually, because I'm going to be getting a half face mask, even if I'm going to slow down on how often I post and what type of content I post is going to be changing a bit, because of the whole looking into colleges thing. But this is basically what I look like. For Pokemon videos, I'm going to keep using this character, but for other videos, I will be using the face cam. You won't be able to see my full face. This is close as you're going to get. I'm going to be dyeing my hair dark purple soon. So that's what with purple hair, blue eyes. And I have a shirt like this. It's a off-the-shoulder shirt, and I have a skirt that I like that's like really soft and black, and I like how they look together, so I decided to put my drawing in it. That's basically the whole explanation. It's no big deal. I just want you guys to get sort of used to seeing a character introducing what I'm drawing for Pokemon, because I'm not going to be using my face for that, because I don't want to have to wear a face mask the entire time I'm going to be working on these, because these take a long time to do and recording, and I don't want to have to do face cam for the entire time, because it's hard to do, it takes a long time, and I get real hot. So I'll be just using my characters. Well, my character. And I also imagine this is probably what I would look like if I were a trainer. But that's basically all. Bye for now, and bye for a while. At least in drawing videos. Queenie, out.